I am Liam Dance, and this is the introduction to my Cosmology series. It's mainly for those who know something about quantum mechanics and the standard model of elementary particles. Physics is in disrepute. To understand the universe, we have divided it into three realms. The very small is ruled by quantum theory. The very large is ruled by Einstein's relativity theory. The middle, which runs from the smallest thing we can see in a microscope to the size of the solar system, I will call the Newtonian middle. The universe is one thing, and there should be a smooth transition from one realm to another. But there isn't. In particular, quantum mechanics and relativity don't fit together at all. Hence the disrepute. I set out to understand the universe we live in. I had a good grasp of the Newtonian middle already, and fairly quickly came to an understanding of the Einsteinian universe, which I have summarized in 101, The Shape of the Universe. I got bogged down trying to find a shape for quarks, those that make up protons and neutrons, and the W and Z bosons eventually made me laugh out loud. Quantum mechanics is not a coherent theory. It is a collection of rules of thumb that are tweaked to make them agree with observation. This is not a secret. It is the reason string theory was invented. The standard model supposes that elementary particles have no extent. They have zero dimensions. But I take quantum theory very seriously, and especially the insights of Max Planck, that there is a smallest distance and there is a shortest time. String theory presupposes that these elementary particles are not zero-dimensional, they are one-dimensional. So they have length but no cross-section. Now that means that they also don't exist in our universe. My elementary particle has 5 dimensions. I will come to it in a moment. I have limited myself. My ambition is not to describe all possible universes, no. My aim is to describe this universe, and only the physical aspects of it at that. I needed some guiding principles, what I now call the meta-theory. The first and most important is to try and get rid of the God did it explanation. So I assume that the universe came from nothing, is perfectly balanced at every moment, and so could disappear back to nothing. I have not totally succeeded. The second is to treat Max Planck's insights into quantum realm seriously. The shortest distance and the shortest time. Third, there is a fifth dimension, which accounts for magnetism. It was first described by Theodore Kaluza in 1919. I have called this the colour dimension. And fourth, I have replaced Occam's razor with Murphy's law. Occam's razor says that you should always choose the simplest explanation. Unfortunately, the simplest explanation is almost always wrong and has to be amended later. Murphy's law says that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Well, I'm interpreting it a little by saying that processes always do the interesting thing and avoid the boring. They surprise us. Unpredictability is built in. And on these foundations I have built. The idea of there being three different colours comes from the theory of the strong nuclear force, quantum chromodynamics. There do seem to be three different things in each proton and each neutron. But having failed to visualise quarks, I threw the problem down to the quantum level, where the boundary of our universe provides a solid structure. Nothing can get smaller than a viton. This balance that I deem so important is a three-way thing. Later it becomes a two-way thing. The colour analogy comes from the three primary colours and being able to produce, those being able to produce, or the others. Now I'm going to introduce the fundamental particle, which I call the viton, which I've already mentioned, but here we go. Originally I called it a graviton and was using it to explain gravity, but that was just confusing because there is a theoretical graviton with very different properties within mainstream science. It even has a Wikipedia page. So, this is an important point. My cosmology series is not mainstream science. I am not a scientist. This is a speculative theory, a possible description of our universe. But, crucially, I describe experiments that could confirm or refute the theory. Experiments that I can't do. I am hoping to inspire real scientists, experimental physicists, to test the theory. The payoff could be huge. This is not ultimate truth, but it could be another step towards it. The universe as I conceive it is not all there is. Once this would have been a radical position, but now the multiverse has become an accepted possibility. It is not possible for our physical bodies to leave this universe. Everything is made up of vitons, and vitons are our universe. Yet in my imagination, I can be outside and see it as a whole, or become small enough to slip between vitons. What does that say about consciousness? What does that say about my imagination? is for another series of videos. A note on the language. I am English, which of course is a disadvantage. But my aim is to be accessible to young people who accept these ideas very easily, and to the vast numbers who have English as their second language. Indians, Chinese. So I speak simply, hopefully understandably, and without conscious ambiguities. This series is dedicated to my granddaughters, to Linux developers, the folks at Wikipedia, and Arxiv, which should probably be pronounced archive, which is hosted at Cornell University. I myself have had no access to and have not used any information behind a paywall or any other kind of wall. Welcome to the future.